Hi, I'm Jacob Graham with Wheel Art Pottery Studio. I'm just going to do a demonstration of how to wedge clay. Show you a couple different methods of doing so. This first method is what we call the ram's head method. The reason why we call it the ram's head method is because if you do it the right way, it looks like a ram's head. So when we do this method, you're going to have your hands cupped like you're going to go swimming. Have them cupped on the sides, not on top. Make sure your fingers are wrapped around the back of the clay. And when you push down at a slight 45-degree angle into the table, and you stop when you hit your pinkies. You don't want to keep pushing through like that, because if you do, you bring it back up, go like that, you're going to fold air and wrinkles into the clay and do some other things that you really just don't want to be there. So wedging does a few different things to prepare the clay, make it work better for us. First of all, it makes the clay a more even consistency, so if there's hard spots, soft spots, it just evens that all out. It also compresses the particles of the clay, which is important for a couple reasons. First of all, when you're throwing on the wheel, if the particles are closer together, the clay's just going to hold together better. And also, if you start with a tighter particle structure, you're most likely going to end with a tighter particle structure. And that is important because as clay dries and fires, it shrinks, it moves. And so if you have a tighter particle structure to start, like I said, you'll end with a tighter particle structure. And it allows for less movement as the clay is shrinking, going through that drying and firing process. This also gets rid of air pockets that can be in the clay. There's a myth that air pockets blow clay up in the kiln. They do not blow clay up in the kiln. They can be annoying when you're trying to make something, and they can also be places where the clay can crack as it dries and as it fires. And then this style of wedging, once again called the ram's head, you're spiraling the particles in this direction. And there's an added benefit to that if you're going to be throwing on the wheel. And the reason is, when you're all done, you go like this. And then you turn the clay up to the left like this. And you put your clay on the wheel like that. And if you want this to be cut into several sections instead of just one big hunk, you take a wire cutter and cut it in sections like that. Each piece of the clay goes on the wheel the same direction. Same way, and the reason for that is because when we wedge like this and then we turn up like this, then the particles are aligned in this spiral format and the wheels turn counterclockwise. And so then the particles will already go the same direction as the spin of the wheel, which makes the piece of clay just easier to work with from the very start. So the other style of wedging is the corkscrew method, or screw method, similar to the ram's head, but here we have our hands kind of together like this, but we're still pushing down at a slight angle into the table, and it creates this kind of a shape. It's a little bit more difficult of a method to learn, but I feel that it's easier to wedge the clay once you get a handle on it. The ram's head method is actually a traditional Western European way of wedging the clay, whereas the corkscrew method is traditionally an Asian method of wedging the clay. When you're done doing this, go like that, and then you turn it up to the left like that, put it on the wheel like that, or you cut it into sections this way.